Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all to the webinar wherein we will be taking you through the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022 and the SOP released for registration by CPCB under the rules. Thank you so much for sparing out your time today for this webinar. Agenda for today's webinar is key highlights of the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022, types of batteries covered under the rules, producers' functions and responsibilities under the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022, EPR targets of producers for the 7 categories. Today, our keynote speaker would be Mr. Abhishek Garg, and speaker is Mr. Sudhakar Pandey. I'll just present you with certain rules towards this meeting, towards this webinar. Please be noted that the meeting will be recorded. The meeting shall be based on Chatham rules, that is, only the discussions would be recorded without attributing to the speakers. Q&A session shall be taken in the last. Kindly restrict the discussion to the mentioned topic, that is producer registration under the BWM rules 2022. All the attendees shall remain on mute. For any queries, please use the raise hand feature. The moderator shall unmute and allow to speak in the Q&A round. Kindly introduce yourself and your organization briefly, and then you may ask your question. You may also please keep entering your queries in the chat box. So now I introduce Mr. Abhishek Garg to take over. Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah. So thank you, Ipshita, and thank you everyone for sparing out time and taking out time to know about the EPR rules under battery waste management. And yes, so before wasting any further time, let me just tell you through what is EPR, what's the logic, and what how it is extending in India markets today. So see, extended producer responsibility is a strategy, a policy strategy based on the polluters pay principle, making the producers of the products responsible for recycling and disposal of the waste generated by the end of life usage of their products in an environmentally sound manner. Through this principle, now governments and the regulatory authorities are making companies responsible and accountable for their products they introduce into the market, and that is why the EPR policy is getting extended to from one category to multiple folds category. And today we are going to talk about EPR under battery waste management rules. So for the EPR defined under battery waste management rules says that EPR under the is defined as the responsibility of any producer of battery for environmentally and sound management of waste battery. So that is what the definition strikes is under the policy under the BWM rules. Today and today's date we have EPR under plastic waste management rules, e-waste management rules, yes, and that has been recently published in this week. The final notification of EPR management rules 2022, which will be applicable from 1st April 2023. Waste tires under hazardous waste rules, that is also applicable now. And yes, today we are going to discuss under battery waste management rules. Now, four key things under each of the rules which are similar, and there are a lot of other things definitely, but there are four intent what we have summarized, which is in every rule. One is key is registrations, which is and then circularity and recycling. The lot of focus is involved in across the rules. All the rules there is a online modus operandi for compliances, for registration, and for a lot of submission, certificate generation. And yes, there are penalizing sections under environmental compensation which is across the rules. There are delays around guidelines, multiple guidelines and SOPs which for in the various rules which will be subsequently coming. But yes, and just to tell you guys, this is not going to stop here with the four EPR rules. Currently there are five more such sectors which are expected to come very soon. So yeah, we are there and we will be helping you out and we'll be keep connecting with all of you. But yes, so looking forward to you guys in the Q&A session, and over to you, Pshita and Sudhakar. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek sir, and thank you, Pshita, and a warm welcome from my side to all the attendees who has given a great opportunity to take you through the battery waste management rule 2022. I hope my screen is visible, right, Pshita?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the sense of time, I will quickly move to the agenda of the today webinar, which are like I will be firstly touching upon the evolutions of the rules in the battery waste in India. Then secondly, I will speak about and I will give the briefing about the Battery Waste Management Rule 2020-22, which has been published as of now. Now, then after that, I will be speaking about the SOP released by the CPCB for registration of the producer. So this will be our my third agenda. So I will quickly move to the evolutions of the battery waste management rule. So this evolution is started from the 2001, where the battery management and handling rules were published with the very basic understanding and applicability of the rule. Thereafter, in the year 2010, battery management rule were amended, and that mandated the registration of the entities who were identified in the rule 2001. Thereafter, in 2020, the draft battery waste management rules were published, and now in the year 2022, we have the final version of the battery waste management rule 2020-22. I will be discussing in detail about the battery waste management rule 2020-22, but let me take you through firstly about the structure of this rule. What is the structure that this rule holds? So the structure is comprises of the four components. The first is the clauses, which talks about the applicability of the rules, the definitions given in the rules, like what will be the producer, who will be the producer, who will be the recycler, and it also defines the functions of these stakeholders like producers, consumers, refurbisher, SPCB, CPCB. The rule also talks about the levy of environmental compensations on the producers or any entity who are not complying with the provisions given in the rule. The rule also states that there will be a centralized online portal which CPCB will release within a 6 month from the publication of the rule. Then there will be a committee who will be monitoring and reviewing the implementation work of this battery waste management rule. Then second component is the schedule 1, which talks about the provision of the uses of the heavy metal content in the batteries. Also, it talks about the labeling requirement that battery should have if you're manufacturing in the upcoming years. Then Schedule 2 talks about the target which has been assigned to the producer for the fulfillment as an obligation. So the target is being categorized in the seven category. The first two category is related to the portable rechargeable battery. For the first is the consumer electronics and the non-consumer electronics, the portable rechargeable battery. Then third category is the automotive battery. Fourth is the industrial battery. Fifth, sixth, seventh are related to the electrical vehicles, and that has been categorized as per the type of the vehicle. I mean three-wheelers, two-wheelers, and four-wheelers. Also, the fourth components of the rule is related to the grant of the registration, applying of the submission of the EPR plan, annual returns. So that are given for the producer as well as for the recycler, but forms are separate for the producer and recycler refurbishers. So this is the basic structure of the rules. I will quickly run you through the key highlights from the rule that we have picked up. So this battery waste management rule 2022 is released in supersession of the battery management and handling rule 2001. So this is very clear. This is in the super session of the battery management and handling rules issued in the 2001. The rule covers the four types of battery as I had already spoken about: automotive, industrial, portable, and electrical vehicle battery. And these are covered in such a manner that can be regardless of the shape, size, chemical composition, and type and uses of the material used in the battery. The, the rule also talks about the target which is being assigned to the producer basis the compliance cycle average life of the battery, and that has been defined in the seven categories of the battery. Then rule also talks about this fulfillment will be the target. What target has been defined for the producer that only will be fulfilled if the producer is obtaining the online certificate, online EPR fulfillment certificate from the registered recyclers. So this is very clear that if you are going to discharge your obligation, then you have to obtain the online EPR fulfillment certificate from the registered recycler or refurbisher. Also, the formula is given on this rule, which which gives the idea about the quantification of the EPR certificate. Also, the validity, what will be the validity of that certificate, that is also given in this rule. Apart from the obligation in terms of the target, collection target, and recycling target, there is one more obligation given to the producer, which is the minimum use of domestically recycled materials. So this is very important, that even though you are collecting and recycling the battery in 100% you are recycling, but you have one more obligation that needs to be fulfilled, and that is the minimum use of domestic recycled material. I will talk little later in detail about this. The next highlight is that there will be a centralized portal that will be released by the CPCB. However, it is under the development as of now, and that is supposed to be released within a span of 6 months from the publication of the rule. And the whole registration transaction of the EPR fulfillment certificate will be carried through this EPR portal, which is yet to be published. Now, as of now, on the 14th of the October, CPCB has released an SOP which talks about obtaining the registration in offline manner till the portal is under the development. So this is the recent notification released by the CPCB, that since portal is under the development, so producers are required to obtain the offline registration. The procedures, all those things, I will speak in detail in the subsequent slide. The next highlight is producer cannot deal with any non-registered entity. So if you are dealing with any entity, like if you are dealing with any supplier who is not registered, or any entity, recycler, refurbisher, as of now, you cannot deal as per this rule. Then the next highlight is the prohibition on use of heavy metal content in your battery. So you can only use some heavy metal content in your batteries up to a certain limit given in this rule. Beyond that limit, you cannot use. Then the rule also talks about if you are violating against certain rules, then there will be a way of environmental compensation on you. Then the key important point, the important notes that needs to be noted by every producer, that EPR plan in Form 1C is required to be submitted to the CPCB by the producer by 30th June of the succeeding financial year, which means today, if we are in the in a financial year, then if we have manufactured certain battery that needs to be reported to the CPCB in the 30th June of the succeeding financial year. However, for the year FY 22-23, this EPR plan is required to be submitted within a 3 months from the publication of these rules. So the timeline for this filing the EPR plan is 22nd November 2022 for the year of 22-23. Yeah, so this is the key highlights from the rule that we have captured. Now I will, since we are discussing about the battery, I will move to the coverage of the battery, and I would give you hints about what battery means as per this battery waste management rules. So as per the rule number 3 of this battery waste management rule, the battery is defined as the any new or refurbished cell and or battery and or their component, which will include the accumulator as well. And if there is any equipment which converts the chemical energy into the electrical energy, that will be considered as the battery, and that will be called as the battery. This is very clear. Now, what waste battery includes? The waste battery includes the used battery or end of life battery or its components, spare parts, or consumables. So if you have such batteries which are used battery, end of life battery, that will be considered as the waste battery. Waste battery also includes the pre-consumer office pack battery and its component, spare parts, and consumables that producer may have at their facility as well. Then expired battery, that discarded battery, that also is being taken under the consideration of the waste batteries. Further, the battery has been defined in the four type of the battery. First is the portable battery, second industrial battery, third automotive, fourth is the electrical vehicle battery. So as named portable battery, the portable battery means battery that is sealed and less than 5 kilogram and not made for industrial purposes. Electrical vehicle are to be used in automotive battery, that will be called as the portable battery. The next battery is the industrial battery, which means any battery which is designed for the industrial uses. So that battery will be called as the industrial battery, and that will include sealed battery but not portable battery. That industrial battery will also include the unsealed battery, excluding the automotive battery. Also, it will include the energy storage and management system that we usually have at our facility, at the production facility. That will also come under the consideration of industrial battery. Then the third is the automotive battery, which is very clear. The battery which is being used for the starting and lighting or ignition for the automotive, that will be taken as the automotive battery. And the fourth is the electrical vehicle battery that is being used in the electric vehicle for tractioning and providing the power to the vehicle. So this is third type, this is fourth type of battery. So this is the coverage of the battery given in the EPR. Now I will talk about the function and responsibility of the producer. But before that, I would like to clear the definition of the producer. So as per the definition given in this rule, the producer who will be called as a producer? An entity who engaged in manufacturing and selling of the battery, including refurbished battery, including in-equipment battery under its own brand. That entity will be called as the producer. Means if you are a manufacturer in and you are selling the refurbished battery, or you are selling any equipment which contains the battery, you will be taken as the producer as per this definition. Then if there is any other entity who is in the sale of battery, including refurbished battery, including in equipment under its own brand, but produced by other manufacturer or supplier, that that entity will be also taken as the producer as per this definition. And if there is any entity who is importing the battery as well equipment containing the battery, that also will be taken as the producer as per this definitions. So they have covered the whole entity, I mean, who are in the manufacturing and selling, who are just selling but being manufactured by the another entity, and who are just importing the battery or equipment containing battery, that all are coming under the coverage of the producer as per this definition. Then there are functions which are given to the producer, like they need to obtain the registration firstly. And if their registration is being expired, they needs to apply for the renewal within a 60 days of the expiry of that registration. This is the first responsibility given to the producer. Then the information that they are submitting during filing the application, if there is any change in that information, the producer is need to be updated to the CPCB. And if there is any cessation in making availability of the product, I mean the battery in the market in the upcoming year, that also need to update it to the CPCB by producer. Then the producer are required to meet the collection target and 100% recycling and refurbishing as per the target given in the schedule 2. That is very clear. Then the producer are required to file the EPR plan of action by 30th June in Form 1C with quantity in terms of the total quantity, total weight, dry weight of the battery that they have manufactured in the preceding financial year. However, for FY 2023, 2022, 23, this Form 1C is required to be provided by November 20th of 2022. Then the next responsibility or function is given to the producer is they need to adhere with the provisions of the heavy metal content, use of the heavy metal content and labeling requirement as given in the schedule 2. And they have to take the obligation of the domestically recycled material used in their battery as per the rule number sub rule 14th of the rule number 4. They have to file the annual return by 30th June of the succeeding year to CPCB and concerned SPCB. Also, the obligation, I mean, what is the obligation for why they are being obligated is the battery that they have introduced in the market. So that is also given in as a responsibility to the producer in this battery waste management rule. Then waste batteries should not be sent for the incineration and landfilling. That needs to be ensured, and that is the main responsibility given to the producer. Then producer may operate through DRS or buyback mechanism or for the EPR fulfillment. Also, they can engage any waste management agency to collect and facilitate in the 100% recycling of the target assigned to the producer. And also the producer need to ensure that this entire battery handling is being in a safe manner. There is no damage to the health, there is no damage to the environment. And if in this handling of this battery and waste battery, if there is any damage or any violation is happening, the producer needs to notify to the CPCB or SPCB, whether it is being by the producer or being by the any entity involved in the handling of the waste battery or battery, that that needs to be informed to the CPCB or SPCB. Then producer shall not deal with any other entity not having the registration as mandated under these rules. So that is also very clear. So this is the function that we have picked up from the rule issued in the issued on the 2022. Then Like we were speaking about the target given in the schedule 2, so we have prepared this slide for your quicker consumption. So target is basically, being defined based on the average life of the battery mentioned in this table. Like if the battery average life is 3 years, then it has become the waste as of now. Then what quantity of that battery will be my target as a producer, that is also given in this table. Then EPR target includes the collection as per the target given in the table, plus that 100% recycling should be done of that EPR target. I mean, if you're collecting 50% as per the target, then 50% ka 100% recycling should be done by you. So that is also given in this EPR target. Then EPR target shall be specific to the kind of battery. I mean, lead, acid, lithium ion, nickel, cadmium within each type of battery, which are portable, automotive, industrial, and electrical vehicle battery. And producer will have to meet their obligation through the EPR certificate that they will be obtaining from the recycler or refurbisher through online portal. In case of non-availability of the EPR certificate with recycler refurbishers, the producer shall have the responsibility of the collection. So this is related to the EPR target. Now I will I will quickly take you through what is the target and how it is being defined in this if schedule 2. So firstly, the target is given for the 7 categories of the battery. The first category is the rechargeable portable battery used in consumer electronics that I'm explaining. For this, the compliance cycle is being started from year 22-23 and it is being ended to the 31-32. So this is the 10-year compliance cycle. In this 10-year compliance cycle, the obligation year starts from the year 22-23, which the target that producer will have, that will be the 50% of the quantity that they have sold in the year of 2017-18. I mean, if you have sold X quantity in the year 17-18, then as per this schedule 2, that has been waste, and 50% of that quantity needs to be collected by you in the year of 22-23. Similarly, the target is given for the year 23-24 and it is being increased to the 60%, and for the remaining year of this compliance cycle the target is being 70%. In the same fashion, the target is given for the rechargeable portable battery used in the non-consumer electronics, and the target year is being started from the year 25-26, and this is also a compliance cycle of the 10 years, and the target is being started at the rate of 50% from the year of 25-26. Apart from the year-wise target, there is the compliance cycle-wise target also given, which states that collection of 100% waste battery and of 100% of refurbishment or recycling shall be mandatory by end of the 10-year compliance cycle, which means end of the 10th year. And of what battery? The battery that the producer have placed in the market during the 10-year compliance cycle, right? However, there may be a carry forward of up to 60% of the average quantity of the battery placed in the market per year during the 10-year cycle to the next compliance cycle. So this is also given in respect of the compliance cycle. So the target is given year wise, the target is given by the compliance cycle wise both. Right. Similarly, in the same fashion, the target as given for the other category of the battery. For the automotive battery, the compliance cycle is a 7 year, and the target year starts from the year 22-23. And in the year 22-23, the target is being taken at the rate of 30% of the battery placed in the market in the year of 1920. And again, it is being increased by the 20% in I mean, it is being 50% for the year 23-24, and it goes to 90% for the remaining year of the compliance cycle. So you all can read this. This is very, this is prepared in such a manner you will be able to know what is the your target for which year. So this is you all can read for the other type of battery. I will move to the next pointers. Yeah. So apart from the collection target and recycling of the 100% of the collection target, there is one more obligation added to the producer, which is use of domestically recycled material. So what it means use of domestically recycled material, it mandates ki if you are a producer and you are producing a type of plastic in upcoming years, then that plastic should have certain domestically recycled material. When I'm saying certain, it means certain percentage that battery should hold out of the total dry weight of the battery. For the portable battery, the year starts from the 27-28, and for the year 27-28, the percentage is the 5% out of the total dry weight of the battery that you will place in the year 27-28. And the target is being increased year by year. For the year 28-29, the target is the 10% for the use of domestically recycled material, and it goes up to the 20% from the year 30-31 and onwards. The same target is given for the electrical vehicle. However, for the automotive and industrial battery, the target is being started from the 24-25, and the target is the 35% of the total dry weight of the battery that you will be placing in the market in year of 24-25. As already spoken, the assessment of the minimum use of the recycled material in the battery shall be in respect of the total dry weight of the battery. In case of the imported battery, like if you are a producer, you are a manufacturer, you will be easily able to achieve this 5% target by using those domestically recycled material in the battery. But how this importer will do, because they are just importing the battery. So those importers, how this importer can fulfill their obligation against this use of domestic recycled material? These importers shall have to meet the obligation of minimum use by way of getting the such quantity of the recycled material utilized by other business, or by way of exporting such quantity from the India. Either they can utilize the 5% of the potable in some other business, or they can just export this 5% domestically recycled material from the India. So in this way, the importer can meet their obligation. Right. So this is related to the obligation of the domestically recycled materials. Now there is this environmental compensation as per Rule 13 needs to be understood. So just firstly, I will take you through when this environmental compensation will be levied. It will be levied if you are operating your business without registration. If you are providing false or willfully concealed information during the submission or during the filing of the registration, or if you are submitting a forged or manipulated document, then also the environmental compensation will be levied. And if you are not following the sound handling of the waste battery, then also this environmental compensation will be levied. As well as for the producer, if they are not meeting the EPR target, then also the environmental compensation will be levied. And how this environmental compensation will be levied, what will be the guideline? There is the implementation committee. They will prepare and they will recommend the guidelines for imposition and collection of environmental compensation. This environmental compensation will be levied basis the polluter pays principle. CPCB will levy the EC to the producer. SPCB will levy the EC to the refurbisher recycler who are registered with these SPCBs. In case the CPCB does not act in the 60 days, the CPCB shall issue direction to the SPCBs for levy of the or issue of the environmental compensation to the entity. Please note, if you are a producer and you are not able to meet the EPR target, the ECA payment will not absolve your obligation under these rules. You will have the relaxation of the 3 years to carry forward this shortfall to fulfill. And if you are able to fulfill that shortfall within the subsequent 3 years, certain amount of this EC will be refunded to you. If you are able to meet in the 1 year, 75% of your EC will be refunded by the CPCB. If we are doing the same in the 2 year, then 60%, and if you are doing the 3 year, then 40%. After 3 years, whatever the amount you have remains, that will be forfeited by the CPCB, and that will be not revamped. And non-fulfillment of this obligation will attract penal actions under the provision of Section 15 of the Environmental Act 1986, which talks about the imprisonment. So that also needs to be understood, right? So this is about the environmental compensation. Now, as per the rule number 14 of this rule, CPCB is yet to come with the centralized online portal for the battery waste management, and that timeline given to the CPCB is the 6 month. So how this will work and what will be the objective of this online portal? This online portal will act as a single point data repository From this portal, the producers will be able to file the registrations, they will be able to file the returns. But any stakeholders who are being obligated, they will be able to do by this online portal. Now, SPCB or CPCB, you will be using for the granting of the registration of the producer or recyclers. And details regarding audit of the producer, refurbishment, and recycler will be also available at this online portal. And this online portal will also reflect your shortfall of the EPR target. So that's about the centralized online portal. Yeah. So as already said, keep in the function responsibility of the producers, there is a provisions which talks about the registration of the producer from the online centralized portal. But CPCB has come up with a one new, has released a notification where they are saying that since our EPR portal is not live, the producers are required to obtain the registration in offline manner. So this is the SOP that they have released on the 14th of October. For your quicker consumption, we have prepared this slide, which talks about the producer have to file the Form 1A. They have to fill the Form 1A and they have to submit this Form 1A by two ways. First way is they have to submit through company email to the batteries.cpcb@go.in. That is first step. And the second is they have to submit again this Form 1A in the offline manner to the good office of the CPCB. This Form 1A should have supporting documents that has been given in the procedure, which are self-attested copy of GST certificate, TIN number, CIN number, Aadhaar card of authorized person, and PAN card of the company. So in this way, you have to submit your application for granting of the registration as a producer. The procedure also says that this registration will be granted for the period of 6 months. After that, it will be expired and the auto renewal will be done through the online portal of the CPCB. And at that moment, you have to pay the fees. So as of now, there is no fee for submitting the offline registration. The fee will be, taken at the time of the auto renewal through the online portal. So we as an A to Z team have prepared, this Form 1A. I will quickly take you through that, how we are, incorporating the information in the Form 1A. This is the sample Form 1A. So firstly, we are writing in a cover letter to a member secretary with the subject statement that we are seeking a grant of registration as a producer as per the procedure laid down in the SOP and as per the rule given in 4.4 in the BWM rule. And this we
Sudhakar,
are writing to the,
Sudhakar,
sorry.
I would like to interrupt. The form is actually not visible.
Okay, okay, sorry, sorry. Let me share my screen again. Is it visible now?
Still coming. Eh, Maybe you should just reshare it.
I hope now it is visible.
Yes, it is visible
Yeah.
now. Thank you.
So we are preparing a covering letter for this Form 1A where we are writing this covering letter to CP member secretary of CPCB with subject line that we are seeking application grant of the registration as a producer as per the rule number 4.4 of the battery waste management rule. And along with that, we are attaching certain documents that has been made mandate in the procedure like CIN, TIN, PAN card, and all those things. So this is Form 1A where we are filling the details as asked and as required. Name of the producer, suppose there is ABC Private Limited, so we are writing ABC Private Limited. Registered address of the producer, website address, contact details is also required to be provided. Then name of the authorized person and full address with the email, landline number, all those things we are incorporating here. Then GST number along with the copy of the GSTN number, TIN number. These all things we are incorporating. As per the forms, the section C of the 6 of the form talks about the type of battery placed in the market with the brand name. So that also we are incorporating. Please note here, the quantity is not to be mentioned and not required to be mentioned as in the Form 1A of this procedure. So this is it. We are preparing for for the brand, for the producer to submit their application to the CPCB. Yeah. So now I will come to my PPT. Yeah. So once you file this, once you submit this application form to CPCB via email and via courier, the CPCB will grant you registration, and this is the sample that we have picked up, in which they are incorporating the reference number of the registration. They are highlighting what is the reference number of the registration that they are issuing to you, with the registration number, with the validity of the this registration, and they are writing it to the company. So this is the sample of the producer registration certificate reflecting all these details. So, and this is the sample of the form 1A, like we have already filled name of producer, registered address, and all those things needs to be mentioned, that we are also helping producer to file this. Then form 1B, as already shown, how this CPCB will, grant the registration in which format. Then this is the form 1C, which talks about the EPR plan that needs to be filled by the this producer. So the form 1C is similar to the form 1A. The only difference is there in the point number 6. Along with the type of battery placed in the market with the brand names, the quantity in total weight as well as the dry weight of the battery needs to be mentioned in the form 1C. So this is related to the form 1C of the rule 4. Then this is the form 3, which is annual returns to be submitted by the producer by 30th day of the June of the following financial year. So again, they are asking for the certain details. We are helping brand producers to file the annual returns as well. Then yes, this is from my side, and thanks for being patient and listening to me. And now it's over to you, Ipsita. You can take over.
Thank you, Sudhakar. So, thank you for such a wonderful session. And with this, yes, we conclude our webinar today. Thank you everyone for for your support and for your time. Thank you, Sudhakar, for the wonderful session. And yes, we hope to see you again next week in the session of the e-waste management rules. Thank you.